Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video to go over some of the things in Illustrator that you might want to change. So you'll notice I don't have a new document set up yet, but I'm going to go into my Illustrator preferences. One of the things that I like to change immediately every single time that there's an update is how the zoom function works. I like it to zoom to selection, so you may want to go to selection and anchor display and click that button, zoom to selection. What that lets you do is it lets you draw a marquee around what you want to zoom into on the screen. So let me just show you, for example. Let's say I have this box right here and I want to really zoom in to that point. I'm going to go down to my zoom tool and now I can click and drag and zoom right to the area that I want to be at. Also, whenever you are on a tool on the screen, if you hit the space bar, that gives you the hand tool, which lets you drag yourself around the screen. Another good option is possibly choosing to work in Essentials Classic, which is up in the right-hand corner where your workspace is. I find that Essentials Classic has the most panels open at one time. And if you find that you're constantly using the same panels all the time, like the Pathfinder tool or the swatches, or any other tool that you find that you're really just using a lot, what you can do in Illustrator is you can actually create your own workspace by going to New Workspace and naming it. So I can name this workspace Shannon's Workspace and click OK. Now with that being said, I want to go over some of the tools in Illustrator. So we have our black arrow tool and our white arrow tool, and they each do different things. I'm going to draw a square on the screen, and you'll notice I have a red fill color on the inside and I have a black stroke. Now, let's say that I don't want that black stroke. I can click on it down here and I can change it to that option that shows the white with the red slash. That means none. Or up in the selection, again, if you are in the Workplace Essentials, you can go in and you can change it to none. So I'm going to draw my square right there. Now with my black arrow tool, I can move the selection around the screen. With my white arrow tool, I can actually select different points and manipulate them. So let's say that I want to drag just this corner and drag it in. That's what I would use my white arrow tool for. I can still select it, but I need to make sure that I'm selecting the inside of it. Now, if you have something that just has a border on it, just a border, just like this. If you want to select it and drag it, you'll notice if I select inside, I can't really select it. That's because there's nothing inside. It's set to none. I need to select that edge that's filled in. Now let's take a look at some of the different shapes. So we have the rectangle tool, the rounded rectangle tool, the ellipse tool, and the polygon tool, and the star tool. If you are on the polygon tool and you just click on the screen, you can change the number of sides. So if you need to make a triangle, just change it to 3 sides, and you can do that. If you are on the rounded rectangle tool, you can draw a rounded rectangle and manipulate the curve of those the rounded edges by dragging, let me zoom in a little, by dragging where these little dots are and pulling in. You can do the same on your triangle by dragging that dot and pulling in. Now let's look at the star tool. So let's say we need a star that has a certain number of points. Just go to the star tool, click on the screen, and you can change the number of points from 5 to 10. To zoom out and see the entire page, click Command 0. And again, to zoom in, go to your magnifying glass, and if you change that option, you can draw a marquee around exactly where you want to zoom in. Now we also have the pen tool and the curvature tool, and they work a little bit differently. So the pen tool, which we will go over in more detail in week 2, you need to click, and drag to manipulate those points and make curves. And again, we're going to go over this in more detail in week 2. But the curvature tool works a little bit differently. You can click to make a line, and then click in the middle and drag it down to make a curve. Anytime that you are done with the path that you have created with your pen tool or with the curvature tool, you need to manually go over to the black arrow tool and click off. Otherwise, if you just click on the screen, it's just going to keep drawing paths everywhere you click. And if you have an image, let's say, and you want to color something from an image, select the shape that you want to color it from the image with the black arrow tool, go down to the eyedropper tool, and eyedrop within that image. And you'll notice it takes off the red border for you and just fills it with the fill color. I hope that you found this video helpful.